Hey, thanks for watching this episode of the Local 636 podcast. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on your notifications bell so you get notified when all the newest episodes come out. Also, be sure to follow us on socials. Our Facebook and Instagram is local.636. And go to local636.com to pick up all your St. Charles gear, like this beautiful Katy Trail shirt. We've got hats, t-shirts, sweatshirts, and much more, all at local636.com. We're here with Alexandra Sanchez Little.
Hello.
Director of Admissions at the Academy of the Sacred Heart. But I've got your bio, and we're talking about it. I didn't even realize that your parents own Riviera too.
Correct.
And that's a great story. I want to get a little bit of it in, but my question is, it is Riviera 2, TOO, not the number 2.
Yes.
So what's the story there?
So my grandpa's first car was a Riviera Buick. So
Okay.
that's where he got the name
Okay.
Riviera. So we're third generation. My grandpa started the business in the 60s, and my parents took over. And when they took over, they just wanted to add a little bit of their own flair to it, and they added TOOs. And also because there's not a second Riviera 2, this is just kind of the onward, the
Okay.
next generation.
Okay.
So that's where the TOO comes from.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yes.
And this is not like a Riviera 2 podcast, but what a great place. You can go in and get an awesome sandwich, and you can sit in this little, you feel like you're in the mob because you go in and sit in that back little room there.
Yes.
And there's I've never seen anyone eating in that room. Every time I've
popping at lunch.
Does it?
Lunchtime,
Okay.
yes.
Maybe I've gone at off times, but yeah, it feels like kind of like a secret room. It's like part liquor store, part sandwich shop, deli. What a great place.
Yes. And then we do our patio. That's my gig at patios on Friday, Saturday during the hot months.
Okay. You plan what goes on there?
That's its own bar, live music,
Okay.
and drinks. We have our, and food.
Yeah.
So what's out there on Friday, Saturday nights.
Yeah.
So we kind of do it all.
So much fun. And
Yes.
what a hidden little gem, because you have to go north of 370 to get there.
Yes.
Right.
I mean, 370.
Yeah.
We get
It's
a lot of boaters as well going out on the water. We have best ice in town, so they love our ice.
the best ice in town.
Best ice in town.
How do you even claim that?
You can ask all of St. Charles.
What is it?
It's just the way that we make them. The cubes, they hold really well. Everyone loves taking them out. They can keep it all day. It keeps their drink, and sometimes they put
Really?
those sandwiches in their cooler, and they're set for the day.
I've been there a bunch. I don't think I've ever heard anything about the ice.
All right, you have
But
to check it out.
I will have to go back
You
and
can
check
come
out the
back.
ice.
Get you a
Could
sandwich.
just get a
and we
bag
can-
of ice.
Yes,
Okay.
we have them by the bags.
Okay.
That's the most
Are
popular.
they square, round? What are we
Square.
doing? Square cubes, hole in the middle?
No hole in the middle.
Okay, just a square
Big
thing of
old
ice.
square, yes.
And it's the best ice.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Well, that's not why you're here, but that is very cool. And I definitely want to plug Riviera 2. They do so much for the community as well. Your parents are both pretty involved
Yes.
in the community, and just very cool. I do want to talk about your story a little bit, because this is just hitting me today. I don't know what it is, but your dad, you tell,
Sure. So linking to the Academy of the Sacred Heart, correct?
Yeah.
So my dad immigrated here when he was 16, and he was in New Mexico, but then Lindenwood scholarship brought him to St. Charles, Missouri. So that's what brought him here. And he would go by the Academy and just see the students playing outside, and it was a dream of his to eventually send his children there.
Oh, that's so
So
cool.
it gives me chills to this day, because I
too.
just feel so fortunate. Now I'm the director of admissions at the Academy.
Yeah.
But to have grown up and to have me and along with 3 of my siblings go through, it's definitely instilled in me. I'm through and through. I feel like it will always be a part of me, the Sacred Heart charism and just everything about it. So I just feel very grateful to have come full circle and be back working now, but plenty of involvement and connection since today, since being back as the director of admissions. But it's definitely a happy moment.
Yeah, what a cool story. I mean, I read that and I get the chills where it says, what you said, he drove by and he hoped one day he could send his kids there. And that is so cool. And I don't know, I believe a little bit, not super hippie, but I believe you can manifest certain things if you think about things. And, it's not just you think about it and it happens.
Right.
You have to think about it and you have to take action towards it happening. But
Right.
you keep that top of mind. I think that's real. I think that's powerful.
I definitely believe that that's what it was. And that's why it is so important to me. And that he did work so hard to get to that point too, and he really did manifest it and put it out there. But then all the actions between that moment of seeing the students out there, and then just him really working hard throughout college and his jobs and beyond in order to get him now where he has 4 kids that have graduated and on and doing their dreams and passions. So it makes it really easy for me to explain to other people with my perspective, my parents' perspective, my siblings' perspectives, why the Academy of the Sacred Heart is such a special place.
Yeah. So what does it mean so you go to school there, you graduate, you go on to whatever high school, and then you went to college in Chicago.
Yes.
And then you taught there for some time as well.
Yes.
And so what does it mean to come back to St. Charles, come back home to work for the Academy?
It means, well,
put you on the spot here a little bit.
It means everything. It means that I've had a lot of, like I said, involvement in it on my journey back, but it's in my role, I get to now talk with prospective families. I'm about to meet the new families that are joining us. Yeah. And to be able to share that with them, it's just the next chapter of it. And Sacred Heart has been in my blood since that moment that I walked through as a pre-primary student. So to now be able to share that with others, it means so much that it does continue onward, because we always say, Sacred Heart is always your home. It becomes your home the moment that you decide to be there, and it lives through you. So that's why it does mean so much to me now. It's been so important in each chapter of my life, and now moving into this role, I get to share that with families that are thinking about it, helping them decide. It's such an important decision, and to be able to be a part of their journey and helping them is just, I feel very honored to get to do that. Yeah, you can really tell when you talk about it. I can tell that you're passionate about it, that you want other people to have the same kind of experience that you did. Was there ever any thought of returning to St. Charles, returning to the Academy to work? Like, had you ever thought about it? Was it a goal? How did this all come about? Oh, yes. I've definitely thought about it. So when I graduated college, I had an opportunity to come back, and I actually worked with the head of school at that time in the office. I came back, I had a little bit of an interim. I went to teach in Peru internationally, and I had this interim, and going back and getting to be in that, getting a little taste of it. And I could have stayed there and taught, but what Sacred Heart taught me is that there's a world outside of our own. And I had just graduated with a degree in education. I had grown up in the Catholic education. I wanted that I said, I have to go back to Loyola. I learned about urban teaching. It's a goal of mine to do that, to learn about this world outside of our own. I went to Peru. I got to learn about education in another country. And then I did come home to St. Charles after that. I went back to Chicago and taught in the South Side and the West Side. And then I did move home. So for the past 6 years, I've been at Pattonville. So another perspective of the public education here in St. Louis. So with that, it's just having all of that and being able to come back and then be back home. Do you think you'll ever go back into teaching, or is that chapter kind of closed? Well, coming back and having, this was the moment where I knew this was the time. So all that to say, this was the next goal of mine. I do think my heart always knew it would come back to Sacred Heart in some way. And it was always a goal of mine to now see a new perspective outside of the classroom. It was something I've always wanted to do at administration. Yeah. As I was a classroom teacher, and then I was an ESL teacher in Pattonville. I'm always seeking the next challenge. And so that was definitely administration. So being in that, and now this director of admissions role, I get a new challenge and a new perspective. So that's what led me. The timing's everything in a way, because this just all happened to be, this was the time to come back home at Sacred Heart. So I feel very great that I was able to go out into the world. It's one of our goals, just going out and being aware of what's around us, and So now that all just led me back.
Yeah.
Led me back to this moment.
Any aspirations to be like head of school, or are you just kind of like in the moment now, let's do this kind of?
I'm a very in the moment
Okay.
and lead with my heart. So that's something that I don't know what the future holds.
Yeah.
I feel this is where I'm absolutely supposed to be right now. Again, like I said, being able to share my perspective with the new families that are starting next week, and as well as prospective families for however long to come.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm meant to be right now. That's what I'm meant to do. I think that's where, you hear the way that I feel about Sacred Heart. I think that is definitely something that I can share with others.
Yeah, I think that shines through. Obviously, you'll have no problem there. What a great place to be. What a cool school. I was telling you before we started that I got a tour of it in the spring, and there's so much to see there. And it sounds kind of goofy to someone who doesn't know what it is or hasn't been there to be like, it's an elementary school. What do you mean? Like, why would you tour an elementary school? Right. It's awesome. Like, the architecture is awesome. The history is amazing. There's a saint that is, I'm going to mess up the word.
Saint Rose Philippine Duchenne.
Yeah, I know her name, but she rests there. I don't know what the word for that is.
Well, her remains are in the shrine of Saint Rose Philippine Duchenne. So having our foundress on our grounds.
Foundress, that's a good word.
Yes.
Yeah.
So she is there in the shrine. I mean, that also gives me chills, just having who walked the grounds in 1818.
Yeah.
And
good,
having
nice. 1818. That's good. I was going to quiz you. That's good.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, it's probably ingrained in you, right? Yeah.
Yes. So having her walk through a lot of, our grounds, and then having her still there today is very special. It means a lot to have the person who started this all.
Yeah, and you in the school is like her old room.
Yes.
Like, you can see where she slept.
Yes.
And like, and obviously where her remains are, and the house where she started. I mean, it's kind of wild to think, and it goes back, like you said, over 200 years. She comes over on a boat from France. To New Orleans, right?
Yes, and then
up to St. Louis.
Yes.
Or St. Charles.
Well, yes, St. Charles, and then there was temporarily movement to St. Louis and then back. But the original start is right where we are on the grounds of the academy.
It's crazy, and I mean, there's so much history there. Mm-hmm. The pictures, it's crazy just to stand there and picture what it was like in 1818.
Right.
Like, I can't even wrap my brain around that. Coming over on a boat that took, I forget how long it took. Do you know how long it took her to get here? Like months, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Months on a boat in the ocean.
Right.
Just to get to St. Charles. Like,
but it was her, again, going back to like I was saying, her purpose was absolutely, that was her calling. That was where she was meant to be. And for her and the 4 companions coming over, making it, and then getting to start the Society of the Sacred Heart, and with that being the Academy of the Sacred Heart first. So,
what's your favorite thing about the Academy? Do you have like a favorite thing or a favorite spot, favorite place in the school?
Well, favorite spot would be the shrine. That's always been something that, and this even being away, coming back and be able to visit the shrine has been important. Now I keep telling myself that I'm in the building, I need to make sure I visit and go in and pray and start or have a moment of silence there with, to regroup, and just knowing that is where I can go and kind of seek the silence and prayer. And of course, because St. Rose Philippine is right there by my side, that's definitely a special spot. I also got married there in March, so that makes it now even more special to me, having I get married in there.
This is your life. Like, this is you embody like everything about it. It's so cool. Why don't you look in that camera, and then if there's any information you want to give, as far as if somebody wants to reach out to you, about enrollment, or about, do you guys give tours to the?
Oh yes, that's my role. So with my role,
I mean, to just like someone who doesn't have a prospective students, like if somebody wanted to take a tour, would you give it to them?
Yes, I can give a tour. We also have a shrine director who gives tours of the shrine of St. Rose Philippine Duchenne, but I can also do that. I go through the whole school and can show you around.
Cool.
So
yeah, look right there and give that info, phone number, email, whatever you have for people to get in touch with you.
I don't know my number memorized yet.
Is there like a main phone number for the school? Phone, no one's going to call. Email, website, all that stuff.
So I'm Alexandra Sanchez Little. You can reach me at sanchez@ash1818.org. You can reach out to me. You can come visit on a tour. I'm happy to show you around the school, and I look forward to hearing from you.
Thank you so much for coming. This was so much fun. We'll get together and we'll do it again.
Yes, absolutely.
Cool. Thank you.
Thanks for having me, Ed.